Welcome back to another episode of Ride Like a Local. This week we're going to continue at Calgry Motorcycle Show, and then we head into the Edmonton YEG show. We're with the Ride for Dad. We're going to meet Willie's R&R and Duff Moto and a few other cool community folks. Here with Greg, we're in the CMDRA booth. And tell us a little bit, Greg, about some of the bikes we're looking at here. You've got the Cure, you got the Kawasaki Cycle Greg's bike, you got all kinds of different racing machines. So let's talk bikes.
Okay, well, to start with, these are all different levels of classes of racing. Some are faster than the others. This one here is what they call a pro street bike. That bike is capable of running into the mid-sixes at over 200 miles an hour in a quarter mile. He runs in what they call a professional category. Everybody heads up first to the finish line.
Whose bike is this?
A guy named Rob Aston. This belongs to a good friend of mine, Don Fergan, who also is the owner of Universal Cycle in Calgary.
Yep.
He's had this bike for probably 30 years, and he's just started racing it again here in the last couple of years. It's based off an old Kawasaki 750 triple. This bike will run into the high nines at about 120 miles an hour, 130 mile an hour in that area. And he runs in what they call a bracket class.
Right.
Handicap racing.
Right.
Where you can race a slower bike, can race a faster bike. The slower bike, let's say it's 2 seconds slower,
right.
He'll leave. The faster bike will leave 2 seconds later. And in theory, they should cross at the finish line. This bike here actually runs in the same class as this one.
Okay.
That's the beauty of the bracket racing. You can run whatever you want.
Right.
And they both run in the same category. It's called super bike, where most of the bikes are in there anywhere between the high 8 seconds to the high 10-second area. So that's why I can say the handicap. And
right.
This is probably the most competitive class in the CMDRA. This bike runs in the street class and what they call hot twin. Same thing. It's handicap racing, and street class basically is run what you brung. You could. What do you own?
2010 Ultra.
This bike here is basically in the hot twin category. I think, he runs it in hot twin and street, but he could probably race this bike in superbike. That's how competitive it is. But hot twin and street. And the reason the reason he can race in hot twin is because it's 2 cylinders.
Right.
Hot twin is 2-cylinder class only, so
right.
You could race your bike in hot twin.
Okay.
So.
And then we've got the cutest bike in the bunch.
Okay, this one here. We don't have a class for up here yet in Canada. They do down in the States called junior drag bike.
Right.
It's basically to get kids started out. It's a good place to start is something like this, a lot slower, lower to the ground, and get their feet wet. Hey?
Right.
And we haven't got it yet, but we're trying to get it. We're
right
trying
on.
to get a class for
That's going to be excellent, getting the young ones involved.
Yes.
Last one. This bike is a bike I recognize. Tell me a little bit more about
this. This belongs to a gentleman named Glenn Fraser.
Yep.
He runs this in a class called Pro Modified. Pro Modified / Pro Extreme. This bike is also a heads-up class like the Pro Street bike. These actually, up here, those 2 bikes runs in the same class because it's heads-up and the same. Again, this bike capable of running into the mid-sixes is well over 200 miles an hour.
So if people wanted to find out more about the CMDRA and how they could get involved, how would they get a hold of you guys?
It's basically Canadian Motorcycle Drag Racing Association. And look it up, and there's all sorts of people on there for newbies if they want to get into it. There's more than enough people that will be more than willing to help you all.
Girls get dirty too.
Off-road Vixen's clothing, yeah.
It's the off-road Vixen's clothing. Now, you guys have done all kinds of crazy racing all over the place because I followed a couple of the Vixens in the past.
So cool.
So tell me, why a store to promote the sport to girls?
Because we're awesome and we deserve something just for us.
So do you design stuff that's just for the girls? How do you promote?
So this is a brand based out of Washington. It was started in 2008.
You know, how did this all get started? Why is the store so important for the girls?
Because there wasn't anything for just the girls. We had all the big brands making stuff sort of for girls just to fill in that gap a little bit, but it wasn't really just for the girls.
Yeah,
so
a lot of stuff that was male-oriented but feminized by putting pink on it.
By putting pink on, exactly. So we have all the girl stuff, not very much pink, but we just have cool, fun stuff and a really fun community, and we just have a good time. Well, there's ladies in every sport, so we like to get dirty doing anything and everything, from fishing to figure eight racing, everything, right? So
figure eight racing, I haven't heard that term in years. Oh my Lord, that's one of the most deadly sports in the universe.
It's a little crazy, but it's just how badass the girls can be, right? We're just in there doing our thing, loving life and having fun doing it, supporting each other. It's just a really good community. The women are just amazing. We support each other and love each other all the way through and get dirty and fix our own stuff and do our own things, and it's just a good time. We are at vixenscanada.ca, and we have an American site, offroadvixens.com. And there's a few retailers, I think, in the States. I'm not too familiar with who's there, but we're just looking to expand in Canada. Hopefully we'll have some retailers on board soon.
Frank Hildebrandt. I am an insurance broker with Eau Claire Partners, as well as I enjoy travel insurance. I enjoy covering motorcycle riders. This is a product that covers you for $250,000 and double for paralyzed, less for losing a limb. It's only $38 a month. I bought it on myself and then got contracted because every motorcycle rider should have this. As well as when people are traveling, then I present To Go Insurance. I've done my research. They are by far the best. They have most bells and whistles. Price point is good. Communication is the best. When you need to claim, I tell you they're there. I know because I interact with them and I get responses very soon, right? So they're there for you, right?
So how far do you like to ride? What kind of riding do you enjoy doing?
Originally I'm from Manitoba, so I've done that 4 times. I tell you, that's like cheating death the whole way back, and I've done it again and again. But it's all about the journey, right? Who cares how long it is? Even if something's an hour away. I ride slow, let's go this way, and what's that road? No kidding. Every time I ride a road, it's like I've claimed it. I should plant a flag, right? I claim this road, I've ridden it, conquered it, that type of thing. Yeah.
So does your wife also ride?
Time to time. She's a little afraid, but it's a Harley, right? It's got a good back seat. She's locked in there when you ride. Yeah, she's nice and comfy. She can read a book if she wants.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So travel insurance is your game, and you are a rider living in the Calgary area. If people wanted to find you, how can they get a hold of you?
Frank Hildebrandt. You could go Frank at eauclairepartners.com if you like. That's easy to remember for an email address. 403-660-8812. Very old phone number. I've had that for about 25 years at least, maybe 30. That's an old phone number.